Bedtime Stories for Kids, The Snow Queen. Once upon a time, in a city lined with red-roofed houses and flower-filled windows, lived two children, a girl named Gerda and a boy named Kai. They were not siblings, but they were closer than any brother and sister could ever be. They lived in neighboring attics. Their windows looked out over the same narrow alley. In the summer, they grew roses in boxes and let them climb between their sills. In winter, they drew pictures on the frosted glass and told stories of snowflakes turning into stars. One day, Kai would say, "We'll go exploring. Far beyond the city, past the river, into the woods, only if we go together." Gerda would reply, squeezing his hand, and always, they laughed. But one winter, everything changed. Far to the north, in a palace made entirely of ice, the Snow Queen stirred. Cold wind followed her wherever she went, but her true danger was hidden. In a shattered mirror crafted long ago by a cruel sorcerer, the mirror twisted all it reflected. Beauty became ugly. Kindness appeared weak. It shattered into 1,000 pieces, and the wind scattered them across the earth. One icy shard drifted on the wind and flew straight into the city. It landed in Kai's eye. Another pierced his heart. "Ow," he muttered, brushing at his face. "Something stung me." Gerda rushed to his side. "Are you all right?" "Fine," Kai snapped, brushing her away. "Don't be so dramatic." From that moment on, Kai began to change. He no longer laughed at their old jokes. He called her silly when she cried over wilted flowers. His heart, once warm, grew distant and sharp. "Why do you follow me everywhere?" he snapped one day. "Because you're my best friend," Gerda whispered. He rolled his eyes and walked away. Gerda felt the cold settle into her chest, even though the sun still shone. Then, one snowy evening, Kai vanished. Neighbors said he'd gone sledding. Others whispered he'd climbed onto a strange white sleigh with silver runners and was pulled into the sky by a woman in white. She kissed his forehead, said one boy, shivering, and he stopped moving, just smiled, and went with her. Gerda refused to believe it. "He wouldn't leave without telling me," she said. "Something's wrong. I'm going to find him." "He's gone," others said. But she only tightened her red cloak and packed bread in her satchel. "Not gone," she said. "Just lost." And so Gerda set out, alone into the snow. Gerda wandered for days through the snow-covered countryside. Her boots wore thin, her cheeks burned red, but her eyes stayed bright with purpose. "I'll find you, Kai," she whispered into the wind. "No matter how far." She followed the river, asking everyone she passed, travelers, birds, even the trees. No one had seen a boy with bright eyes and a frozen heart. Until one evening, she came upon a small cottage nestled beside the riverbank, half buried in snow. Smoke curled from its chimney, and the air smelled of herbs and honey. An old woman stood outside, her arms full of firewood. She had eyes like forest moss and a voice like warm soup. "Well now," the old woman said, "that's not a face I see often out here. Come in, child, you're frozen." Gerda hesitated. "I'm looking for someone," she said. "My best friend, a boy named Kai. He's missing, and you think you'll find him by freezing to death on the river." The woman chuckled. "Come in, warm yourself. Then we'll talk." Inside, the cottage was cozy and full of flowers. Even in winter, tulips bloomed beside the fire. Violets danced on the windowsill. A whole bed of roses grew along the ceiling beams. "They bloom for me all year round," the woman said with a wink. "I have certain talents." Gerda sat quietly as the woman brought her soup and wrapped her in wool. "You have magic," Gerda whispered. "Some," the woman replied, "but only the kind that grows things, not the kind that finds lost boys." Still, something about the place felt safe. Warm, almost too warm. Days passed. Gerda's cheeks grew rosy. Her hands stopped aching. She laughed with the old woman and listened to the flowers sing lullabies. But then, she dreamed of snow, of Kai, of him sitting still in a throne of ice, his lips blue, his eyes blank. She awoke in a sweat. "I forgot him," she gasped. "She made me forget him." The flowers whispered above her bed. The rose remembers. The rose remembers. Gerda jumped up. I have to go. The old woman tried to stop her gently, sadly, but Gerda was already racing from the cottage. Thank you for your kindness, she called. But I have someone to save. The flowers waved their petals as she disappeared into the woods. Gerda pressed deeper into the wilderness, the forest growing wilder and darker as she went. She crossed icy rivers, climbed frost-bitten hills, and followed the whisper of snowflakes that always seemed to say, Kai, Kai. But one night, as she camped beneath a fir tree, she was surrounded. Robbers, shaggy coats, flashing knives, and wild eyes. Before she could run, one of them grabbed her satchel. Well now, what have we here? The leader growled, a little snowbird with breadcrumbs and nothing else. But just as Gerda braced herself, a voice rang out. Stop, she's mine. A girl, no older than Gerda, stepped forward. She wore a coat made of wolf fur and boots of stitched bark. Her hair was tangled, her cheeks fierce with life. She's interesting, the girl said. You all want gold, I want stories. The others muttered and backed away. Gerda stared. You're their leader. The girl grinned. I'm the robber girl, and you're coming with me. They rode through the snow to a smoky camp full of tents and fires. Wild goats roamed freely. A reindeer, tied to a post, pawed at the snow. Gerda sat beside the robber girl, sharing stew and stories. Why are you out here alone? The girl asked. I'm looking for someone. My best friend. The Snow Queen took him. The robber girl narrowed her eyes. You're brave. Or stupid. Both, Gerda admitted. But I have to try. The girl leaned back, thinking. I've seen her once. Riding across the northern lights. She's real and dangerous. Then you believe me. I believe in wild things. That night, the robber girl untied the reindeer and whispered in its ear. Take her north, past the ice mountains, find the palace of snow. She turned to Gerda. This is as far as I go, but you're fire. I hope you melt her. Gerda hugged her fiercely. Thank you. And before dawn, she climbed onto the reindeer's back. They galloped through snow and wind, through twilight and frost, toward the realm where winter never ends, toward Kai. The reindeer ran until they reached the edge of the world, a place where snow no longer fell, but simply hung in the air, silent and still. There stood the palace. It shimmered like cut glass, its towers piercing the sky. Every wall, every stair, every column was made of ice, yet nothing melted. The air was sharp as broken crystal. This is as far as I go, the reindeer whispered. She is too strong for me. Gerda climbed down and touched his nose gently. Thank you. Then she walked alone into the cold. Inside the palace, all was silent. No echo, no wind, just stillness and gleaming frost. And in the center, on a frozen throne, sat Kai. His eyes were blank, his skin pale. Before him floated shards of ice. Strange puzzle pieces he moved with stiff fingers. If I arrange them, he murmured, they'll form the word, eternity. Kai, Gerda cried, running to him. He didn't look up. The Snow Queen said I must finish. Then I'll be free. Tears filled Gerda's eyes. She reached out, but her fingers froze before they could touch him. You're still in there, she whispered. I know you are. She leaned forward and kissed his cheek. A tear fell onto his skin. It glowed, and then, crack. A sound like breaking glass echoed through the hall. Kai blinked. His hand trembled. Gerda, he whispered. Yes, it's me, he gasped, and clutched her tight. The shards of ice in his eye and heart melted, dissolving into light. Suddenly, wind howled through the palace. The walls cracked. The throne shattered. The Snow Queen was gone, not in anger, but in defeat. Her power, broken by something she had never understood, love. Gerda and Kai stumbled out into the light. The reindeer waited. The forest greeted them with birdsong, and as they rode home, hand in hand, the snow melted behind them. When they reached the city, the roses in their window box were blooming. They looked at each other and smiled. Not like children, but like two souls who had walked through ice and never let go.